All right. So you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're an entrepreneur with the launch coming up. You're studying for a qualifying exam like the NCLEX. You have performance anxiety about a big event. Any of that, I'm going to give you some tips and secrets of how to calm your nerves so you get the best out of your performance. Welcome. My name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I build adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching. I want to talk to you about this because one of my clients is setting up for launch for his new education course, basically, and he was starting to feel a little stressed out, and it's affecting his performance in other areas of his life, how he's adhering to his activities. So we wanted to give him a little tool, and he found it very useful. So I want to bring that to you today on the live feed. Welcome. All right, so this is important because it's part of the guilt-free game plan process. I can talk to you a little bit about that later, but basically build vision, focus, and practice for you to take confident ownership of your path to freedom and fitness. And what happens is a lot of people get stuck if they are experiencing this performance anxiety, you have something big coming up, you feel stressed out, it's like causing you to get all sweaty, your heart races, you feel terrible, you're missing sleep, you can't eat right. It's like not a good situation. It's because you're experiencing high levels of stress from this. And people get stuck doing that. And when they do that, then they end up not doing the things they intend to do for that class, or they just suffer. Their like relationships can suffer. All kinds of things can get really bad if you let this stress get out of hand. But when you fix it, you can actually change your perspective to use this kind of anxiety, pressure situation to move towards more of what you want, and boost your performance, actually. And we'll talk a little bit about that more. And then you'll feel it relieved and in alignment with your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. And you'll feel like you're doing what you're meant to be doing. It suits your mission and vision. If you have those yet, or if you don't, you'll just feel better in general when you kind of get past this performance anxiety and you use it. And so the big tip that I have for you to start out is detaching from the outcome. If that works for you, then you're good. Just click like and you can leave. But detaching from the outcome is probably the key to what you're doing. And this happens, say you're playing sports, you're shooting a free throw, and it's a clutch game time winning decision or moment, and you have to do it. A lot of times, instead of just focusing on that shot, you start to think about what happens if you miss that shot, or what will people say about you, or other things beyond the scope of actually what you're trying to do. And so what we want to do is attach from that. And this works in your health goals, in your business goals as well. If you have a big launch coming up, you start to think about what happens if this doesn't work out. I want you to actually question that. What story are you telling yourself about your success or your whatever outcome has, right? That we're trying to detach from. We're trying to focus on the process a little bit more. If you're telling yourself like, oh yeah, I knew I couldn't do it, if you would fail kind of thing, or this, I'm no good at this kind of thing. Would you feel inadequate? That comes up a lot. Something that I noticed one time I was teaching, doing nutrition education for Spanish speaking clients. My Spanish is not that good, but I got in a situation where I had to do it, and I was like dripping sweat, and I was super nervous. My heart was racing. My hands are sweaty. It was awful. And then I was wondering, like, why am I acting like this lady's going to reach over and like stab me if I can't speak Spanish effectively? All I had to do is communicate this idea, and she'd be very appreciative of it. So usually when you're feeling this kind of performance anxiety or you're stressed out about your launch success, it's because you're telling yourself a story that's beyond what you're doing in that moment. So take a moment to monitor that and think about what that means to you. Then you can detach from that outcome and focus on the process. More tips I have for you here. Recognizing use stress. There's something called the Yerkes-Dodson law. Came out like 1908 back in the day, but basically it's a performance curve. You need stress. Actually, you want to recognize, oh, look, I'm still in the background, how stress can affect your performance, right? So you start here. If you don't have any stress, you're not going to do anything at all, but you can use this curve to your advantage to increase. This is kind of like an arousal curve. And when you're up here, this is like where you are looking to start preparing yourself. You feel like a little bit of pressure. You're nervous. You're likely to study. Do things that you're meant to do to make sure you have a good outcome, or at least a competitive shot at what you're doing. So sometimes this stress is good. It's just if you don't manage it well. If you aren't able to use this powerfully enough, you can get over into this other side. Hold on, we're mirrored here. So you'll get stress, anxiety, impaired performance, and then that's where things will go downhill when you go beyond this optimal arousal point here. So just something to think about. You can look that up. I do intend to do some more stuff on stress management because stress management is a big part of your decision-making process as an entrepreneur. And if you want to be adaptive, you want to be able to manage the challenges that come your way. So a little bit on that, recognizing you stress and noting that it's not always a bad thing. It can really get you going and helping you feel successful and prepared for whatever big event, whatever show, performance that you have to do. My next tip, have a bigger vision. This is a big one when it comes to looking beyond just this one instance of what you're doing. If you think that, this game-winning putt is going to be the defining point or moment of your career, then you're going to put a lot of pressure on that one shot. Instead of thinking of this is one shot in my career and I'm going to build a legacy, a whole program beyond this. Same with like a big play in any sport. I have lots of sports references for days where it's not just down to one play. You're thinking about the program, right? Or not just down to one launch, one instance of one launch or 1 week leading into it. You're going to take information from this and then go beyond this, continue building your business and success. And by the way, I'm also relating this to like your health goals. A lot of people will kind of get caught up with the outcomes. They want to lose 20 pounds or something, and then they just focus on like, they miss one meal and then like they're gone forever, or it takes a long time for them to get back in track because they get stuck. So you want to get beyond that and kind of build a program, a bigger picture thing. And that's what I have here next. This event isn't make or break. If you miss this free throw or if this launch doesn't go well, this isn't going to be the end of your career. The like nutrition person is not going to reach across the table and like slap you across the face a bunch of times because you like didn't do it right. So just kind of looking at the bigger scope of what you're doing in terms of your vision is a big key here. And Simon Sinek kind of coined this. He calls it the infinite game, where it's not just like the end of the game, like a single event. It's a bigger picture where like you have an endless amount of time or like your whole lifetime to kind of build up. So if you're putting too much pressure on one instance, then you are going to be experiencing a ton of performance anxiety and you're not even going to have fun doing it, which is another reason like you want to enjoy what you're doing too. Okay. And as part of my next step, giving myself segues, I guess that's nice. Here, focus on enjoying the process. So if you're worried about if this goes in or if this success makes me like $50 million or whatever like number that you have set, then you are more focused on the outcome. We want to focus on enjoying the process. The practice, that's the next step. I got ahead of myself. But enjoying the process, thinking about what you have to do to make this shot, right? Make sure your feet are lined up, you're bouncing the ball right, or you have your vision set straight and you're focused on what you need to do. The process of just one step at a time when it comes to setting up your launch, 1 day of studying at a time. So it's not just like this big event and you're just like, oh my God, I can't handle any of this. This is tough. Leave a like if this is making sense, because I know what I'm trying to describe. It's not always easy when I'm going live, but focus on enjoying the process is going to be a key part. And then practicing well and celebrating progress. This is a two-part thing. So having a system for practice instead of kind of all or nothing efforts where you just go super hard for a week or so and then you give up or you take a long break because you burned yourself out. You want to have a system for practice so you can continue developing that skill or that program or your launch, your course offering, or your health habits, any of that. You want to have a practice so you are in the journey, you're enjoying it, and then you continue with it. And then you're celebrating like, hey, I did it. I practiced 3 times this week. I studied 4 times this week. I had a really consistent look and I'm preparing myself for great success when it comes to this. So that practicing well is huge. And with Fit for Freelance, that's what I kind of tell you and describing is that your business and your health mindset mirror each other. So if you are having a harder time with some of this nervousness or performance anxiety stuff, then you will be able to practice that with health habits. So you get a feel for how to do it. And that's kind of what I coach with the guilt-free game plan and the guilt-free process. I can bring up a picture right here. Basically, the vision, focus, and practice. So we work on the value. So you have a bigger picture, like we talked about, the focus. You know what you need to do on your way, and then you practice it, you implement it, and then you're celebrating the ongoing success. And we have great success with that. And that translates to your health habits. So if you have a goal that you put a lot of pressure on, like you want to look good before your wedding or a cruise or some event, instead of being like really focused on that, let's look at how you can have fun leading a healthier lifestyle, and get rid of some of that performance anxiety. And then also what you'll see when we're building adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching, you'll be more adaptive for the decisions you make in your business. And that's what I have here. Better health habits reduce your stress perception as well. So if you're well hydrated, you're active, you have like less tension built up in your body, you're not able to focus if you are like super stressed out. So if you're able to express that and have that kind of mental clarity to make better decisions and enjoy what you're doing, then you're going to be able to lead the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams by doing these things on the way. You're going to be more adaptive. More self-compassion is a big thing too. Back to that story. What story are you telling yourself? And like your life will just be better if you're taking care of your health habits, and it'll help you calm your nerves for your big events like your launch and etc. So when you're ready to practice, you can subscribe to my channel, click like, and then I have some links in the description below. Free Facebook group, all kinds of tools and resources. You can just email me if you want. Leave a comment if this helps you get a new perspective on performance anxiety and how you can, use it to your advantage. Use stress, build a vision, build focus, and have a practice that helps you reach your health and business goals. So that's what I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. And as always, keep practicing. Peace.